These are my AirPods. Weekly Q&A. And I have been playing around. So last week in our Q&A, I did a screen share, and I would like to do another one this week. So it's just taken me a little bit of working out how to do it, all this tech stuff. So I'll just wait for some people to pop on, and then we'll do a screen share. So a big warm welcome to all our new members of the Facebook group. Lovely to have you in the group. I thought I turned off my notifications. You'll have to excuse me if I've got a few beeps and dings happening on this screen share, because I'm still working out all the fine details of screen sharing. I wonder how to I won't even worry about turning the notifications off at the moment, in case I stop something. So yes, once again, a lovely warm welcome to all our members of the group and our new YouTube channel subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. Just to let you know that I do a weekly Q&A on Mondays. It's varying in time a little bit, 9 to 9:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I am streaming on YouTube, and will be streaming on Facebook as well. I'm in Facebook jail at the moment, so when I'm back out of Facebook jail, I'll stream onto into our Facebook group. So let me just make sure I've got my settings okay here, because I'm using a different software here. I'm using live streaming app, so I want to make sure that you can comment, and I've got my comments here, and that I've got the window. So just getting all my little tech things happening here. How do I get rid of that? Okay. I can see your message. Hey, Sarah Becca. Thank you for putting a comment there. I know that you've got tendonitis, have you, with your fingers? That's no good. I know the feeling of pain when it comes to joints and that. I sure do. Awesome. So you can see me and all of that. This is really cool to be able to screen share, but it's only the second time I've used it. So, and thank you so much for sending through your videos. It's so good. There's so much. I'm going to bring up your first video in a moment, and let's just see how it goes live streaming and going through it. Food and stress induced. You? Oh, no, really? Oh, no. You poor thing. Oh, dear. I know. I'm a little bit stressed. Yeah, stress as well. My horses have been sick lately, and it's been so stressful. I'd like to talk about it actually in one of our Q&As, what I've been going through with my horses. I don't know if you can hear my dog, Lulu. Lulu, here. Always dogs in my Q&As. Oh, Rolo. Rolo, you can come in. I've got a ring-in dog. Rolo, you can come in, buddy. Come on. You can sit. Don't bark. Chris, sit down. Chris, sit down. Oh, God, so sorry. Don't worry about the house clothes. It's really good. I'll just try and turn the dogs off. Chris, get back down here now. Let me turn the dogs off. Come here. Hey, Lola, what's okay? Everybody sit down. Come on. The dog that's Chrissy. Oh, so sorry. I've got so many dogs barking. Now just sit. Minnie, turn it off. Good girl. What a crazy life. Man, get your butt down. Turn it off. Okay. No, fine with the house closed. It's really, having these videos is really good because I can pick out so many things. I have to work out. I might just do a step by step. So what we'll do is as soon as the dogs turn off, Minnie. Oh, now Lulu's going to be stupid. Lulu. I might just bring Minnie and sit her up in my lap in a moment. Minnie. Please, everybody, just turn off. Well, I'm doing a live, buddy. Okay. Hey, Paula, how are you? That's okay. On Facebook, but not sure if I'm too late for 2 days. I didn't see your cues on Facebook. I'm in Facebook jail. I've got another 2 weeks and I'm out again. Yes, we just started. I'm just trying to turn the dogs off. Chris, I've got the neighbour's dog's just come in and he's what? I didn't see your questions. When I'm in Facebook jail, it's so crazy because I have to keep toggling from one profile to the other. Yes, I'm going to. So, Paula, this is going to be really good because I'm going to review a video of Sarah Becker and Sailor have more than a 10-second delay. Okay. I don't know why that is. That's okay. I fiddle around. You know what I'm like anyway. I fiddle around. So let's just go into the video now. And Paula, if you've got the questions, pop them in there and I can answer them for you. But we're going to go through, let's just go make sure it works. So I'm just going to toggle this on. Okay, so we can see Sarah Becker here. Don't worry about your house clothes. I'm now I've just got to make sure I can turn it on. Okay, let me go to my window. It's really cool, this. That's okay. I'll keep an eye out for your chat, Sarah Becker, so that I don't miss them. And Paula, let me know. Pop your questions in there. So Sarah Becker's over in US. Whereabouts in the US are you again, Sarah? Oh, no, it's really, really mini. Sarah Becker, whereabouts are you in mini? Turn it off. Mini. Okay, so let me just go to the video here and make sure that I'll move this screen over here so I can play it. So let's just have a go and see. Can you see that? You can see you walking, Sarah Becker? Okay, awesome. So I'm going to break this up because when I went through your videos, there's quite a lot we were having. So just so you know, Paula, and anyone else, I wanted to ask about feeding oat hulls as fiber source. Would they act the same as feeding a grain? I guess they are grain, but really just the shell. I have to look into that for you, Paula, because oh my God, my hair. Don't worry, I always look better in my Q&As than I do in real life. The screen does something. No, I really appreciate your videos, Sarah Becker. I'm going to have to find out, keeping up with an excited thoroughbred out on a walk. I was given a tip by a friend who breaks in horses to have my mare to circle around me every time she gets too far ahead. No. Okay, so one, don't do the whole circling around when she gets too far ahead. And I'll explain why. I might have to go. This is a really good question, Paula, on I'll find out the oat hulls for you. You're going to get yourself full equestrian. The breeches, everything. The last walk we did 2 days ago, she circled the whole way. No, it was exhausting. She did more. She did become more responsive towards the very end of the walk, but it was hard going. Yeah. Look, if you can, yeah. So to start with, no, not the circling. That is not going to fix the problem, and it's giving confusing. So I'll just answer Paula's question here before I go into your video, Sarah Becker. It's giving confusing signals. So it goes back to the stop and go. I'm having a little bit of a change with the retraining with Thai series. I'm changing. I'm putting it into my other platform. A little bit of a change. Sarah, is that what you tried to do too? See, this is so good. I love these Q&As. So the whole circling thing, this gives me some content ideas as well. So let me just put it here. Well, I can go back to the questions here, but I'll do some videos on why the horse is going ahead. So this is working for you. So because you've got your lead things as well, Sarah Becker. So you've got some really good videos. She started to preempt and do it automatically. Yeah, it all comes back down to, and this is going to suit you, Sarah Becca, with your leading, even though it's two different symptoms. So Paula, you've got your girl wanting to go ahead. Okay, so speeding up her legs. Now it's all about your basic responses. Now this is a lot to go into. So it'll have to go to, so one, don't do the circling around thing. It's not, you've got to, it goes back to your basic responses of having control of their legs. So if you're doing the circling around thing, you're not training clear responses. It's not achieving anything other than confusion. So so you want to think of, when you think of your horse rushing forward, okay, or going ahead, her legs are speeding up. Okay, so, and also too, with you, Sarah Beckett, when Sailor is not wanting to go forward, his legs, so he's not moving, you haven't control, Minnie, you haven't got control of their movement, of the speed of their legs. So number one thing when it comes to retraining is to be able to control their movement and their speed of their legs. So if they rush forward, you use your lead rope, or if it's under saddle, your rein aids, or if you're in a bitless bridle, the rein. Lulu, I'm so sorry about my dogs barking. To slow them down. So it's interesting. This whole, it's so many. I'm going to pop Minnie down there without. So if you can see the circling around isn't doing. I'm going to throw something at my dog. Woo-woo. I think I've turned her off. The circling around, what's it achieving? So you want to think, what am I trying to achieve here? So, and this is what I really want to try and teach is to keep things simple. So the first thing is, okay, my problem is I have my horse rushing forward, or that's with you, Paula, or with Sarah Becker, Sailor doesn't want to go forward. He's stopping in that. So they're not responding to me. So circling around is achieving nothing other than confusion and a bit of stress with the horse. So it goes right back to basics of controlling the speed of your horse's legs with the lead rope, with your stop and go. So when a horse rushes forward, you want to be able to use that lead rope to actually have some backward pressure and slow their legs down. So you don't want to be doing any turns. It's all, yeah, I know, Sarah Beck, you tried a lot of things, including the jiggling and the jerking of the lead rope. It's all about, so you want to be able to have your horse responsive to that lead rope pressure in hand. It comes down to your lead rope pressure, not circling. So if they're rushing forward, you want to have trained your horse that when you use some backward lead rope pressure, they slow their legs. As soon as you get a response, you release. So it's not about circling around. It's like, okay, the problem is my horse is rushing forward, or my horse is slowing down, and I need to be able to have control of their legs so that they're under stimulus control. Does that make sense? So she started to preempt and do it automatically. Yeah. Now this is where you need to come into your body. You need to be aware of her movement. You need to be aware of when you feel her legs speed up. It's like having a connection to them from the lead rope. It's all contact. There goes my dogs again in a moment. It's all contact. So whether it's contact with the lead rope and the head collar, stop it, or the reins and the bit, it's contact. And you need to teach your horse to respond to that contact. So I've got two horses that I'm going to do a video. Oh my God, my dogs. Hey, Suki. And I've got Dragon, who is really light to the responses. So when I ask him to move forward, he goes forward lightly. And when I ask him to bring back, he stops lightly. Now I've retrained him. It seems like when she gets excited, she turns into a freight train. She goes from very responsive to brick wall. Yes, these are really perfect things to be able to train, and I understand and know exactly what you're talking about. And then, yes, Sarah Becker has something completely opposite with the problems, but it all comes back down to the same training. So it's actually good to have two very different situations here, but it all comes back to the training. So this, because she's turning into a freight train, and so the reason she's doing this is because she is not clear. She hasn't been retrained in a basic responses really clearly. And even if they have, so racehorses, because so it's the basic responses is what you train when you're breaking the old school term of breaking in a horse. You've got an unhandled horse, you want to teach them. So just go back to your unhandled horse. Okay, you have no control of that horse until you teach them to stop and go forward with the lead rein response, or to stop with lead rein response under saddle. You want your horse to be able to go forward with the legs, stop with the reins. It goes right back down to the basics. Now, you're not going to be able to control that unbroken horse. I'm going back to your old school language, but, you know, until you teach them that. Now, it's the same with an off-the-track thoroughbred. Even though they have been educated under saddle and they are, you know, they've been years and years in racing, they aren't clear in their basic responses, because they are racing is very, very adrenalized. And so, Paula, your girl is showing that. She's actually showing a sense of behaviors of like adrenaline based sort of anxious type excited behavior. And Sarah Becker's Sailor is just, you know, like Ty, the horse was here. Sailor's basically not showing any understanding of giving to pressure. He's habituated to a lot of pressure, and so has I can't remember your mare's name, Paula, but it's all about not being clear in their responses of giving to pressure. So this, and it's also making sure, it's a bit of a learning curve for us as well. Holy moly, get inside. Stop it. I'm throwing dog ruds at the dogs. You need to teach your own skills. So you need to be aware of when they give you a right response and release the pressure. So there was a video of yours, Sarah Becker, that I watched yesterday that was such a good description of actually not releasing when you're asking for a forward, not giving to the pressure when the horse responds, but releasing before he has responded. I won't go into that today because it'll just be so much information. And so I've got some really good videos that we can go into. But I don't want to confuse this live and sort of look at everything, because we were going to look at this video of Sailor being not wanting to be caught. We can look a little bit. Actually, we can go into the pressure anyway with this. So first of all, before I move on with the video, does that make sense, Paula, that the circling is not going to help, and it's more about going back and giving to pressure? Now, because she's rushing forward, she's showing that it did get better towards the end of the walking of releasing when I felt the sliders give. So that makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. Now, that's what you need to do. You need to be very tuned into what your horse's legs are doing. I'm going to shut the door here. You guys are driving me crazy. Roll over, you go. Go on, off you go. Good boy. Okay. No, you guys have it later. Sorry, guys, I just had to give the other dog, the neighbour's, the owner's dog loves us, and I had to give him a rabbit's ear to send him off his way. So would lots of stop and go out on the road or even backing up work better? Yeah. Is she getting, but don't go out on the road, Paula, unless you've got her stopping and going, first of all, nice and lightly in the arena or in a familiar environment. So you want to, it's like basic starting from scratch, in that you want to keep a familiar environment and having them stopping and going lightly in the arena or in the round yard, and then when she's responding to light responses, then go out into the road where she probably gets a little bit more adrenalized. She's great in the paddock. Okay. Now, if you've got her nice, it'd be good to see a video. I love videos. I'm a real video person, so it'd be actually good to see. I don't know if you can put your camera up and do a video. Yeah, chalk and cheese. So it's the same thing, but you then have to retrain her. I'm not sure. I would be interested to see what she's like in the paddock, because she's so rushing forward outside. I just don't know if she's consolidated to really light responses in the paddock. If you can get a video, Paula, and send it through, or we can pop it up in the academy. I've got a workout. I've got that little area in the academy where you can pop up a video. I can assess it. It's going to be a really good tool once I work out how to upload the videos and that, because video, yeah, even 30-second videos I've used. Just put your camera up on, even on a bucket. You know what, Guy? I'm just going to mention this. I don't know if it's overseas, but it's not very expensive. You've got the Pivo pods. It's a couple of $100 here in Australia. Pivo Silver, Paula, it's in Horselands. They're little. You can sit your camera on it and it films you. It is so good. I've got a really good automatic camera that follows me as well. But all my videos that you see lately have been done with the Pivo pod. Just something, if you want to video yourself, you can even, it's so good for everything. I'm just going to unzip here. You can see me. This is Pivo. It's similar to your glasses, Sarah. Well, in that it films, but obviously your glasses are a little bit like, what do you call them? GoPros. Whereas this, see this, you sit your camera, you sit your phone in there, and it follows you around. Something to think about. It's not very expensive at all, and it's really good. Pivo. I've got the Pivo Silver. That's the little thing there, and it's just so handy to have to be able to get videos of you and your horses, because you know what the biggest learning tool is? Watching yourself. And having someone like me, or someone that is knowledgeable, to be able to go back. That's okay. We'll watch. Yeah. So watch the replay, Paula, and I will I'll go and look at the holes for you. And also too, we'll address that problem with your mare rushing. I'll do some videos, and we'll talk about that in the next topic. Okay. So let's go here to, we'll go back. So we've got your problem here, Sarah, with Sarah Becker. Sorry, I keep calling you Sarah Becker, with Sailor not want to be caught when he sees the fly spray. I know that you have got a fly rug on him now, so I presume you're not catching him anymore. But let's just watch through. I want to break up and keep it simple so that we'll just address him not being caught. We won't go into the leading at the moment because it'll get a little bit too confusing. But we want to work out why. So this is if you're having problems catching a horse. You know, a horse, you go into the paddock and they walk or run away. They don't want to be caught. This is exactly what's happening with Sailor, and this could progress to a horse not being difficult to catch out in the paddock. So let's just watch it first of all. You and your little work clothes, Sarah Becker. So wait, you know what I want to see if I can get. Oh, wait, I want to try and get rid. There we go. How do I get rid of that? Okay, we're going to go back here. So let me just go back, and we will. Minnie, come here. I want to click. Guys, really seriously, you're driving me crazy today. My dogs are driving me crazy. Okay, so we'll rewatch this video and let me just see. So here you're walking up to, he's looking, he's all nice and bright. He looks down at the fly spray and he walks away. Okay, so this is the beginning of why is he doing this? So then let's just watch the whole video again. He's walking away. So you're walking towards him and he walks away again. And then I know what happens. So you're standing there and he eventually comes up to you. Yeah, so what are you doing trying to convince him to come at first and he finally does? He's looks so nice and peaceful there. And was serious and he came. So we have to, the first thing is we have to actually work out, we have to look at the world from the horse's perspective. We have to work out how, so see now this leading, okay, so he's following you and I know this is your issue as well. No, you're back in now. So see how he's not leading forward, you're standing next to him and he's not going. So that's another issue. And this is all to do with, so that leading, and this is very common with off the track thoroughbreds, either in Paula's case where they can be very forward and going ahead, or like Sailor who is sort of draggy and not responsive. Yeah, had him follow me. So he's just following your legs when he wants to. Now here he's actually standing there with the fly spray. I'm just going to, sorry, I've got bingy things here. I have to, it was ridiculous. Yeah, it's really good though for training wise. What's happening with you is it's really good for training because I can't wait when we get something together. You're going to see the difference. Seriously. Once you know exactly what to do, it's just a matter of me getting like the lessons. It's you know, teaching all of this is quite hard, but we're all doing it online as well. So it's not hard. It's not hard to do. It's just translating it online. And I suppose that's a bit of a, I'm so used to taking horses in myself and teaching them. So he's actually not too bad. There's lots of things we can pick up here too. Because this is, so you can see he's not enjoying the fly spray. He's quite, oh my gosh, stop binging phone. He's finding the fly spray aversive. So, and that finished there. So we won't go to the second one because there's quite a lot to look into in the first one here. So with the first thing is what we're looking at is how horses, we want to look at how horses learn. Horses learn by association. So he doesn't understand anything that he's learning. So horses will have an understanding of body language, okay, but we have to learn their language. We can't expect them to understand our language. Everything is very confusing. So we have to learn how the horse perceives the world, how they take in information, and how they learn. I don't know if I've got in the retraining with Ty series, I've got 2 or 3 lessons up with the horse's nature and how horses learn. That's really important because if you understand how his brain works and how he is seeing you, so you want to step out of yourself and look at it from his perspective. How is he seeing you and interpreting it? So let's look here. So he looks like a very quiet horse. That doesn't mean they're not confused and they're not anxious, but even though that they're quiet. So horses learn by association. They associate you, they associate situations, and they associate experiences with either a positive experience or a negative experience. So let's go here. So we know, see if you're walking up here, Sarah Becker, with a bucket of feed or hay, he would be different, wouldn't he? I presume he would, because he would go, oh, he could see the feed, he could see the hay, and he would associate that with a positive experience. I'm getting food. So two situations here. First of all, he's starting to get, I know he was getting worse with the fly spray. So he is associating the fly spray with an aversive stimuli, something not pleasant. And he doesn't like it. Horses are very sensitive, and also to the smell of fly spray. You could see, I know when I zoomed in with this too, you could see, I think it might have been the second video, you could see that he was reacting to the smell of the fly spray. So basically he's finding the fly spray an aversive stimuli that's not pleasant for him. So he's going to walk away. So let's just watch here. So he's looking at you. He's not sure why you are coming up. He's probably working out here. She's coming up. Okay, she's okay. Oh, there she is. Oh, no, she's leaning down and picking up the fly spray. Ah, let's just hear. So you've picked up the fly spray. And he's looking at you and he's working out. So he saw you pick up the fly spray. So he's looking at you at the moment. Okay, now if it was a bucket of food, he wouldn't walk away. But he can see the bottle. He knows that that bottle means fly spray, means not good, and he's going to walk away. And he'll do this with any experience that he doesn't want. So he's associating you too. Think he's linking the fly spray with you. Okay, so it's a bit confusing. They have to work out. So he'll link the fly. So you want everything you do with your horse for him to associate to an positive experience, or if it isn't positive, which is this. So with this situation with the fly spray, it's not a positive experience for him. So instead of just going up and doing this, because we already know he's finding a negative experience, and he's going to get into a habit of walking away, and then this is going to increase into any experience that he doesn't that he finds negative or an aversive stimuli. So what you need to do with this fly spray here is, one, habituate him to the fly spray. So instead of spraying on his body, and also to associate it, link it up with a positive experience. So this is something we need to do once we work out what's happening. So see how he's still looking at you. He's got his ears forward. He's working out what the situation is. Now, see, all of a sudden, as you come through here, you're coming through the rope, and he's already giving you the signal. See his legs up. He's already giving you the signal. He's ready to walk away. Okay. So what we need to do is to avoid him walking away here. We can tell he's showing. So look at his body language. He was interested in you till he realized you were picking up the fly spray. So he's associated that bottle, okay, with a negative experience, and you coming up with the bottle with a negative experience. So he's going to walk away. So we have to retrain him to have associations with the fly spray as not a negative experience, and then link it up to also a positive experience. But first of all, we need to train him to associate the fly spray, to habituate him to it. So he's not habituated to it. And I'm surprised, well, he's sort of standing there tolerating it. But this is an aversive stimuli. Just say, for an example, another aversive stimuli, dressage whip. Horses that have been chased around lunging, or just generally the whip is an aversive stimuli to a horse. When it comes to retraining, doing in-hand work and that, we need to teach them a new association with the dressage whip, that it's not an aversive stimuli that's going to cause discomfort and pain. And with the fly spray here, he's going to find that fly spray irritating. Horses are very sensitive skin-wise. So he's going to find the fly spray being sprayed on his body as irritating. He's not habituated to it. And also the smell as well. So you can see why he's walking away. I hope this makes sense, Sarah Rebecca. Let me know if it's making any sense, because we've sort of just got to break it all up into a step-by-step process and then work out how to solve the problem. But we can't solve the problem unless you understand what is happening and seeing it from his perspective. Let me just fix up. So he's already walking away here. So let's turn it back on again. And he's off and you've stopped. Okay, so you following him wasn't going to be any good. The fact that you've stopped is good. Whistling, and so the fact that you've stopped there is good. He's just wandering away here because chasing him is not going to do anything. So he knows when you go to walk up to him again, you've got the fly spray. See how you go up and he wanders away again. So with a horse that's difficult to catch, cool. Okay, I'm glad it makes sense. So let's just go back here. Now, this was really interesting. You've got a couple of things happening here, Sarah Becca, because it's the problem of any problem with a horse difficult to catch is what's happening here. But also, too, the reason he's difficult to catch is because this is a negative experience for him. It's like if we were going to have to go to the dentist. You know, I hate dentists. Needles, I hate needles. If someone, I wouldn't, you know, if someone started coming to me towards a needle, I'm going to go. I mean, I'm a human. I'm a human. Okay, so this is interesting too. We can use our prefrontal cortex to go, okay, I don't like this needle, but it's good for me, and I'm going to get my tooth out, which is causing me a lot of pain. So we can analyze it, look at the situation, and change our perspective on it. A horse can't. A horse hasn't got a developed prefrontal cortex, which gives the analyzing abilities to analyze situations. So they can't do that. So they just learn by memory and association. So the last time he saw that fly bottle, he remembered it with irritating discomfort being sprayed on his body and a discomfort of smell. So the next time he sees it, because horses can pick out the tiniest little things, he's going to find it aversive and go away. That's the first thing. The second thing is a leading thing. So let's just see. He's standing there. Hey, Kate, how are you? I'm so glad. I'm loving doing these videos. So he's walking away. I really love these videos. When I get really good, I love analyzing videos. I really do. I'll get a little bit more clear in how I explain things because I'm not because doing this whole online thing is new to me. But I think it's really helpful because you break it up into I'm having a mental blank here. The whole catching thing. Let me think of the catching thing. I'm having a mental blank, but I'll put this down. We'll talk about the aversive stimuli first because the whole catching thing is I'm having a mental blank here. You actually break it up into the steps. But I'll do that. Catching a horse because Sailor's not wanting to be a catch because of the fly spray, because of his association with it. I'm just writing it. Just writing what I've got. You should see I've got notes. You should see my screen on my laptop. It's good. Okay, so we'll go into the catching like a horse in a paddock that doesn't want to be catched, and how you can teach that. How you can. It's a kind of approach and retreat, but this is not the problem here. It could progress to this problem, but this is not the problem here with Sailor because you can't do approach and retreat because you've got the fly spray. So let's just go back here. So we're watching this here. Now you go forward. Okay, I would have stopped there. So I'll just go into a little break. I'm going to go back here. Now, when you're walking towards him, oh, wait. How do I just want to go back here. How do I get rid of this? It would have been good for you to stop because before, so as you're walking, I'm just trying to break it up without getting rid of this little doobie thing here. So you're walking towards him. Stop there before it would have been good for you to stop, actually to stop before he walks away. So why is this? Let's just break this up. I wish I could work out how to get rid of this. I'll work it out for our next lives and that. I'll work it out so that I can get rid of this little doobie thing here. So you can see it stays away. Okay, so because it's sort of blocking. Stop. Okay, so if you stop before he walked away, so if you stopped there, you are rewarding him. So what I'm trying to say is you're walking up. Stop. Okay, so as soon as you saw his ear right here, as soon as you saw him, this is where we really need to oh, hey, Kate. I'm so glad you're loving the videos are great. Get a Pivo. Thanks, I'm glad I'm doing a good job. I'll get better. The Pivo is fantastic. I've got a solo shot 3 as well, which is amazing for doing long-term things. But the Pivo is so good. It loses you sometimes, but for the money, it is such an excellent tool. And what I can do as well with the Pivo, if you get a Pivo, I can teach you. I can actually do live streaming and teach you through the Pivo if you wanted to do one-on-one coaching. It's amazing. We can do that, something to look at in the future. But the Pivos are fantastic. I know Horselands have them. I don't know if they're on sale in Australia, but the Horselands have a sale on at the moment. I don't think the Pivos are on sale, but I got it when they first came out and I love it. So when it comes to, let's just go back here before we talk about, so let's play this. When you're going through, if you stop before he took a step. Okay, if you had stopped approaching him before he moved his legs, if he gave that slight body thing of looking away, okay, you have to really read their body language. You would have rewarded him for not moving. Okay, so you have to, what you need to do is you have to see the world from your horse's point of view. And this is where it's really important to understand. It takes a while. It's not easy. I mean, I still, with all my equitation science study and diploma and learning horse behavior and learning theory, we're so used to seeing the world from our perspective that it takes repetition and reading and learning and over again to step out of our world and learn about our horse and learn how they perceive the world. And once you keep doing that, every time you're handling your horse, think, how is he seeing me? How is he perceiving me and what I'm doing? And you will eventually start to approach your horse training and your handling in a completely different way. But it takes time because we have learned to see the world through our eyes. With our dogs, you know, my dogs, I'm not a very good dog trainer. And, you know, I'm learning more, but because I approach what I do with horses to dogs, but you think our dogs see the world as we do, and they don't. Anyway, I hope that makes sense that Sarah Becker, stopping before he even moved forward. So stopping, approaching him, as soon as he flicked that ear away, giving a sign that he was going to walk away, would have rewarded him from not moving. So you stand there and then you could have walked away, just taken a step back and then approached him again. But because he's also, you've got two problems here, because his main reason for walking away is the fly spray. You know, it's more about addressing his association to you walking up to him with this negative stimuli that we want to address. So let's just play and have a look. He's walking away and you follow him and then you give him, yeah, the lessons will be great. I get a Pivo and then we can actually live stream. I can see you. Oh, you got to, isn't that funny? I'm just like, My dogs, they just follow me around everywhere. And I teach them to come to me, but I'm not good with training dogs because I haven't done it. And I don't focus on it because they're my babies and they'll sleep in the bed and they run the house, as you can see, because when I'm doing lives, they bark. So you're out of the screen here a little bit, Sarah Becker. So we'll just wait for you to come back. But yeah, Kate, it's such a good option. The Pivo, I can teach you, or anyone has, in real life, like I'm there, but I'm streaming through the Pivo, and you can have Lulu, you can have earphones on, your AirPods, like Bluetooth streaming. Or even if you don't have Bluetooth streaming, you can even have your phone on you, and I can teach you through your phone, talking over the phone while I can see you. It's amazing. It's really become more popular all through overseas since the whole COVID thing, because COVID restricted. Okay, so see, here's going back to the video, Sarah Becky, you're coming back. He wouldn't follow you, so he's just following. So he's following your steps. See how you're asking him to go forward here, and he's not responding to pressure. And then you give the pressure, and then you ask again. So he's confused. He has no idea what you're asking of him. And then you work. He just goes, okay, well, I think I'll follow her footsteps. Okay. His head goes up. So reading his body language, just going here. Just him raising his head. So he's standing there. He's like, oh, my God, here she comes. Oh, no. He's actually pretty good. You give him a nice pat on the head, so that's good. But, you know, he's actually very tolerable of the fly spray. But can you see that he's certainly not, he's not enjoying it. He's standing there, but I think what would happen is he's going to find it, he's not finding it pleasant. He's sort of looking at, see how he's moved away there? And you've kept spraying, which is good. You didn't stop, because what would have happened, but okay, let's just stop it here. It breaks it up. So what would have happened if you'd stopped as soon as he moved away? He would have learned, okay, we're coming back here. I'll just move it forward. He would have learned that moving his legs away from the fly spray means, means that the fly spray goes away. So you have taught him that as soon as he sees the fly spray, as soon as he feels the fly spray, if he moves away, that stimuli of the fly spray goes. So that's what he's learned. If I move away, the fly spray goes. So this is what he's learning here, actually, because you do it. You stay spraying. But what I would do here, so even before, it's there's so much in just this little video. We can see that he's not, just by his ears being back, him looking at you, that he's tolerating the fly spray, but he's not finding it pleasurable. And he's going to get worse because he seems to be a really quite a very a lovely horse, in that he's they're all beautiful. I love them all, but he seems quite a quiet horse that's habituated to quite a bit of pressure, and he's doesn't come across as an anxious hot horse, though anxiety can form in all different ways. But he's just showing with his body language here that his ears are back. He's not finding it pleasurable. So what we need to do is change his association with the fly spray to him habituating to it, so that he's getting used to the stimulus, getting used to the smell, getting used to that feeling on his body. And that goes by breaking it up into, so what I do, I'll go into that at the moment, but first of all, we want to get him not finding the fly spray negative and habituating to the feeling. Because so he's just showing here that he's not habituated to the fly spray and that he is finding it aversive. Another horse that is more responding, maybe Paula's horse, maybe would have, depending, it all depends on what they're used to, maybe would have just moved away and not straight away. But as we have spoken, I think Sailor's got worse, hasn't he? So you've got a rug on him now. So we need to habituate him to the fly spray so that he's not finding it negative and he's used to that feeling of the spray going on his body. Let's just play and go back here. So you spray, he's standing there. Now you go down. So he's spraying, he's standing there, but he's not really. Now he moves away. So you keep spraying, but he has moved away, whereas ideally we don't want him to move away. So it's good that, so you're giving him a scratch there, which is really good. And see how he puts his little ear forward there? Okay, he's quite good. So do you notice he changed just, this is interesting. Just when, let's go back. When you scratched him on the wither here, see how he put his ear forward and then you sprayed up around his neck and he wasn't as aversive. So he's a little bit better. Now you go back and you're spraying around his legs. Now what's happening here actually is, I'm going to break it up here. Now, a few conflicting. It's a bit conflicting because you'll see as, you're scratching his wither really good. So you've rewarded him for standing there. Now you spray him. Now you could have stopped again. So what you could have stopped again when you sprayed his neck. He was showing relaxation and scratched him on the wither, saying that as he's habituating to that spray and associating that spray on the neck with a lovely scratch on the wither. So see how if you change his associations to the spray, Bailey, the spray being aversive to he's spraying on the neck. So the neck is also too, he seems more comfortable with it being sprayed on the neck than his legs, and you've scratched him on the wither. So you can see he goes, oh, this feeling of the spray going on my neck is linked to this really nice scratch on the wither, which is a very pleasurable thing for horses. Does that make sense? You have to look at horses learn by association and you need to link things up. Now, as we go here, now you're moving to the back. Now, what you're doing, look at your lead rein. As you're moving further, you're actually asking him to move by the pressure with the lead rein, though whether he's associating this with following your legs, see how he's moving away? So, okay, stop there. So this is interesting too, and we can see why it's so important to be so clear. So this lead rein pressure is asking him to turn his head around to the right a little bit, and he is swinging his hindquarters right. Now, whether he is moving his hindquarters, well, let's go over it again. Watch this. So see how the neck scratch on the wither. So he was much better there. I don't know if you can see that. Let me know if you can see how his reaction changed. Now, as you move towards his back, you're putting pressure on his lead rein. Now, I think he's either thinking that as you're moving towards his hind end, he's meant to follow your legs. And now he's moving. So probably two things. So this is why it's so important to understand how horses are seeing us and how they're reading us. So just breaking up this little bit here. I'll replay it. As you're moving towards his back end, can you see how you're putting pressure on the lead wrap and you're moving towards his hind end? So he doesn't know what to do here. So there's so much happening in just this little video. It's so good, but we need to think, okay, so Sailor's standing there. We know he's finding the fly spray a bit aversive, but he's not too bad. So we can work with that in that we don't want to make it worse. We want to now try and associate the fly spray with a scratch on the wither. I would have him in a situation where you maybe have an area where he's you've brought him up for a food. Okay, you've tied him up so that he can't walk away. So it's like linking, I come up for food. We'll talk about that in a moment because I don't want to get a little bit too off track here. But I just want to break up this little bit of area here because it goes into how we don't see what's happening. But for instance, with my horses, Lulu, I have taught them with my equitation science, the only time, Lulu, I'm going to throw a pen at you. I've already thrown 2 pens. Now I don't know where they are. The The dogs have been really good. I've taught my horses the only time, if they're standing there, I've taught them to park. The only time they move their legs, okay, so move their hindquarters like when Sailor did here, is when I asked them to. I would have taught them to habituate to the fly spray by a technique. I would have taught them park, that they stand there. And then if I wanted them to swing their hindquarters over, okay, I would have, the only time they do that is if I ask him to swing his hindquarters over, not by following my legs. So I don't teach, Lulu, I don't teach the horses. You don't want to teach. See, Sailor's probably thinking, oh, I follow her. You know how he follows you when you walk in front? He has learnt to follow your legs, but he's not clear with that. So he's probably thinking, okay, she's moving around there. I follow her legs. So he's not really sure what to do. And then, but the verse is, so he's sort of moving away from the fly spray. But I think more here, you're giving him the signal. Let's just go back a little bit. Lulu, going back here. See the pressure on the lead rope? He's sort of following your body language and work. He's trying to work out here. It looks like he's thinking to follow your legs, so he's moving away. So this is unclear training here because Sailor hasn't been taught clear training, and that he stands there unless you ask him to move forward. Okay, so he's following your legs because that's what he's sort of been taught to do. He's unclear. I don't think he really knows what he's supposed to do. But I think that the predominant one that's standing out more for Sailor is that he's learnt to follow a human's legs. He's sort of associating that. So this is why it's important. You know, a lot of the training that's out there is that you teach your horse to follow your movement, to follow your legs. But then this is such a perfect example is, well, what about when you don't want them to follow your legs, like in this situation? Okay, I've taught my horse to follow my legs, and now I don't want him to follow my legs. That's just going to make not any sense to horses, and it's going to completely cause confusion and stress in them because we've taught them to follow our legs, and now all of a sudden, but no, there's sometimes when we don't want them to follow our legs. We don't want them to follow our legs when we want to spray them down with the fly spray. We don't want them to follow our legs when they're tied up to the horse float at a show. We don't want them to follow our legs when we've got them tied up and hosing and things like that. So even though it all seems clear to us, it's not clear at all to horses because they cannot work out, oh, well, I only follow the legs here and I don't follow the legs here. They can't, they have not got that ability. And this is why it's so important to go right back to how does the horse's brain work? And it's really hard. I'm still trying to get my head around how the horse perceives the world and how their little brain, or their, you know, it's not a big brain. It doesn't matter about the size of their brain because they're learning, even though they don't learn like us, they're learning, and they're learning. How the horses learn is very complex and very, very smart, and their memory is incredible. And they never forget. Everything is stored. So it's like getting out of our head and into movement and behavior, and how really working out how the horse learns. So you can see here, Sailor's moving because probably he's the one that stands out more is he's thinking, well, what do I do here? Or I'll just do what I want, or I sort of follow a leg. So he's taught that to follow your legs. So that's probably oh wait, we're going all the way back to the beginning here. So let's go back here. See how he's moving, but can you see the pressure on your lead rope? And you wouldn't be aware of it at all. But he's not clear in his lead rope responses. So he's moving. He's he's a beautiful boy. I mean, they're all beautiful. It doesn't matter if he's jumping up and down and rearing. They're all beautiful. It just is every time you are handling your horse, you are training them. Every single time, whether it's going out and giving them carrots in the paddock, going in the paddock to fly spray, every time you are around your horse, you are training them. They are learning. And that's a really hard concept for us humans to understand, but it's really important when it comes to being a good horse person and being really clear in your training. We really have to be clear. Now, why? So horses, training your horse to be under stimulus control where they know what to do. So a horse, see these things, just these little things here where he's not sure what to do. He's sort of following your legs, but then you might get cranky at him, or someone else might get cranky at a horse. So if someone else just says here, you get people that, okay, you're going around, and then someone that's not as patient or calm as you might, as soon as they move away from the fly spray, might start jerking on the lead and say, stand there, stand there. Imagine how confusing and stressful that is for the horse. They're like, and horses are fearful animals. So one, it's really important to keep calm and never get never get cranky at your horse, but be aware, I've got a problem. I don't know what I'm doing here, and I've got to find out how to do it. And it's like Paula said, it's so interesting because there's so many different training methods out there. I did the whole circle around thing, what Paula did with her horse way back. I went through all of this. But like Paula's mare is going to have, what is she learning? She's not learning anything. So every time I rush forward, I get put in a circle. It's not very clear. And it's not teaching her to slow. It's not teaching her. We need to be able to have control of our horse's legs all the way down to the littlest itty bitty step. Now, it's not, some people think, oh, it's so controlling in that. This is really good to train your horse so clear. The whole beautiful dressage, the classical dressage, the freestyle and that, the bareback with no bridle. The horses look so lovely and relaxed. That's because they are so trained to respond to the lightest of cues. Okay, the lightest of cues is they understand what is expected of them. There's a language between you and your horse. You understand how to talk to your horse, and your horse understands what you are saying. And so it's teaching your horse a language, or you're learning their language and teaching them. So it's like learning a language. It really is. It's like learning a completely foreign language. We need to understand. We have to learn the horse's language and then create a language so that we can work with them as a partner in however we want, whether it's just in hand. We never ride our horse. They're just going to be a pleasure, a companion that we're going to do in hand, or we're going to ride and out show jumping and competing. It's all about learning a language and training your horse with that language. Now, horses need predictability. What's going to create a calm? So this little bit of, I'll go over again, just this little bit that doesn't seem anything. This is confusing to Sailor. He's not sure what to do, and he's also dealing with an aversive stimuli. So there's a lot going. He's just like, I'm following your legs and I'm being sprayed with this yucky stuff. So now in my situation, just say with my horses, I would have taught my horses have been taught, okay, to stand there. Okay, we're just saying ones that are trained. I've already habituated them to the fly spray. They're used to it. They're not finding it aversive. They've habituated to that funny touch. I'll go back here now. If they move their legs, I would have asked them I would have gone back. If they go to move, I would have had a closer hand on my lead rope. And when they went to move their legs, that is the go response. That is your go response. So if one of my horses, when I'm going to spray them, I've already taught them the stop and go, and I'm going towards their back. Like Sam, there's videos. I know my YouTube channels is a little bit green at the moment, and there's bits and pieces of stuff. But if you go to my YouTube channel where Sam doesn't want to stand at the mounting block, this all goes back to just what Sailor's doing here, moving his hindquarters. Is the same as a horse that doesn't want to stand at the mounting block, like my grey horse, Sam. When I go to bring the mounting block up, he moves away. So it's his association with the mounting block. In my situation, it's a crate. And the mounting block means I'm going to get up there, I'm going to get on. And the mounting block is one I look at, okay, so he's got negative associations with being ridden. The mounting block means getting up in the saddle and being ridden, whether it's that ulcers, pain, left over from racing, whatever. So we've got to work out change his perspective. But I go back to stop and go. So first of all, with Sam, if you go back in those videos, I go back and work on his stop and go without the fly spray, without the mounting block, and have him, when I'm moving, I've got some really good videos of Ty in that I'll have up where you're training your stop and go, where I've got him what we call park, and where I'm stepping back and walking up to his tail. I've got the long read rate, but he doesn't move his legs. Now, Ty took 3 lessons just with the mounting block with Ty. I didn't do anything in his retraining. And with any horse, I won't even move forward to walking off unless I've got them standing parked. So with this situation with Sailor here, first of all, he hasn't been taught to park, and he hasn't been taught to park and not move his legs, and he doesn't understand the cue to move his legs, which would be lead rein pressure. If you want him to move, you have taught him to come forward by lead rein pressure. And then whip taps, we bring in the dressage whip. Now, this is, and then he would know to stand there and not to move unless you've asked him to move. And this can go down to going back to your liberty riding. Horses, you can attach links. So just say, for instance, it's all, you don't have to depend on your lead rein and your, and all of that. You could teach Sailor, once you've habituated him to the fly spray and you've linked it to maybe something pleasant like a wither scratch or some food, and then also helped him link it to something positive, as well as habituating him. If you're a person that has a massage or someone that doesn't enjoy touch, well, thoroughbreds, that's a whole thing in itself, the whole touch thing. But if you were someone that couldn't handle massage, you wouldn't go in and get a remedial massage, would you? You would go in and start with just some light, very light massage. And then as you get more comfortable with the feeling of massage, you would go back as a person and start to habituate to the pressure of someone's hands on your body. The same with a horse. But then with us, if we were going to force ourselves into a remedial massage because we were in so much pain or whatever, we can go, oh, I can tolerate this and it's not very good, but it's for my good. A horse doesn't think, Sailor's not thinking, oh, I'm going to stand here because it's for my good, because it's going to keep the flies away. He can't think like that. He hasn't not got those capabilities. His brain doesn't work like that. So you've got to go back to the whole fly spray thing. It's not a bad thing that you've got a fly sheet on him, because going back and teaching. So if you go back to my YouTube videos where I've got Sam working with Park, I'll work with Park. Let me go. Another video to content. Teach Park. We're teaching Park. So to teach Park is to, okay. So I won't go into that, but because that'll confuse everybody here. I'll confuse myself. But just to give, there's unclear system signals here. Sailor does not know what to do. He's not sure. You're giving him, he's thinking, I'll follow my legs, and maybe there's a bit of pressure there that he's sort of following. So you go back and train the basic responses. So you can see, even though it's a simple thing here, this is very confusing for Sailor. This whole situation is very confusing for him. He's just not sure. So you can see how confusing a horse is. He's not sure what you're asking of him. He's not sure. I'm not sure. I'm presuming that it's not so much the fly spray that he's moving away from here, but more that he's following your legs. Now, if someone then got cranky at him for following, like I said, if someone's got cranky at their horse for doing that, can you see how stressful and confusing that would be for a horse, because they've sort of been taught, they've learnt to follow a human's legs, but then in some situations they're told not to, or they get reprimanded, punished for it. It's just, you can't say, how can I give an example? An example, you're being taught to, okay, just say a kid in school. They've been taught to sit down and be quiet at lunchtime. Sit down and be quiet when they come in. I don't know, God. Sit down, just say sit down. When they come in from recess, they sit down, or when they have assembly, everyone's been taught to sit down and not speak. So a child sits down and they know not to speak and wait for their teacher to come up to the class. And then another day, they've been told to sit down. They learned that day to sit down and not speak until the teacher comes up in and speak in the class. But then all of a sudden, the teacher expects everyone to stand up when the teacher comes in. Everyone in assembly is to raise and stand up. And if they don't stand up, they get punished for it. The child gets punished for it and gets a smack. Just so I know they don't smack kids now, but back in my day, you got smacked at school. So can you see how absolutely brain frying that would be for a child? I've just got my lovely equine nutritionist sent me a message through there. So can you see how if a child goes to assembly and they need to have predictability, everyone, humans, horses, everything, need to have some predictability in their life. Horses need predictability big time. But if a child goes into assembly and we learn that they know they've been taught to sit down every time a teacher comes in, and all is good. But then the next time the teacher comes in and they are sitting down, they get in trouble for not standing. And then the next day, so they're told to stand. And then and then the next day they're standing and the teacher comes in and they get in trouble and punished for standing and they have to sit down again. Can you see how brain frying that would be? So that's what we're doing to horses. So that's what we're doing when we're teaching them to follow our legs. And then in situations like this, where they're moving away, okay, so we're not sure whether sailors are responding to that lead rein pressure. Okay, but he's also now being taught to move away from the fly spray, or he's following your legs. But you can see how confusing that is. Anyway, that's that. So I hope that's a really good analysis of this video to explain what is happening and why he's moving away. Now, probably a good thing to do would be to do a separate or break up a separate video of what to do instead. But to go through, I think I've already given, I've got a hiccup here. I'll have a sip before I go into go to what instead. So what to do? First of all, we know why he's doing it. He's associated. You can see him look at you when you go down to pick up this is why videos are so good. You can see him look at you to pick up the fly spray. I'm so glad it makes sense, Sarah Rebecca. Once you understand, and once I get more videos out, I've got so much content. Seriously, my brain, I get very overwhelmed with all the content. And I've got so much, and it'll all come together and it'll all fit in because I've got so much already to upload and so much to film with my horses, and I just have to sit with it and it's a whole new thing. I'm a horsey person. I've spent 18 years working out in stables with horses and riding, not doing videos and all of this. So getting this whole laptop, uploading and the YouTube video. Look at these other channels that have all these YouTube videos and they're so good at it. Like there's some other channels, not my type of training, but I watch them because these people have such good channels. Like they've got really good playlists and everything, and I'll get there. So bear with me while I get all this up. But what we want to do with this is, first of all, you want to keep everything. See how Sailor is seeing the world, and also too, you don't want to. So first of all, we want to be able to have him in a situation where he can't walk away. So let's just not spray him out in his yard, but bring him in. So what I'll do, for example, is most horses will find fly spray adversive. Adversive is not a nice stimulus, okay? And horses are a prey animal, okay? They will move away from anything that causes anxiety, fear, displeasure. That's what they are. They're also a predictable animal, and this is why such clear training is so important for horses, because horses need to be able to have control over their environment. They need to know what to expect. They need to understand what to do, and they need to know what to expect. So this is why clear training and having your horse trained to such clear responses, I think some people think of it as controlling, It's not controlling, because it is giving your horse the opportunity to be able to have control of their environment. And that's where they're in power, they can relax, and they are calm. So they know that with clear training, and you have your horse responding to the lightest of lead rein pressure. So when you ask Sailor to give, so this is another video, all your little snippets of videos are so good, Sarah Becca, because it's just an example of one of those with your glasses is so good, because I can see what you're doing. So teaching your horse to give to one step of lead rein pressure, and as soon as he takes one step forward, you release. Now it doesn't look like you're getting much, but he understands that if that's aversive, that pressure of the lead rein is aversive to him. Okay, it's not painful, you're not whipping him or anything like that, but it's aversive, and horses are designed to move away from aversive pressure. Okay, so but if you teach him that they want to remove the aversive pressure, they want to get away from it. But if there's something that's aversive, they like Sailor, when he saw you with that fly spray, that's aversive, he wants to get away from it. So we need to either habituate them to the pressure, which is what happens with racehorses, because they habituate to so much pressure. But it's not a good thing when you're habituating to a ridiculous amount of, it's not only racehorses, it's in every dressage, show jumping, the whole lot. Or you want to give them a way that they can remove the pressure. So in training, you want to say, okay, when I ask you to take a step forward, okay, from that lead rein pressure, if you take a step forward, the pressure immediately goes away. So he has learned that, if I take a step forward, that pressure goes away. I know what to do. They know exactly what to do, and the pressure is released. They can relax. This is cool. And then horses learn by association. They're very good at linking things up. So then when you ask again, this is where we bring the dressage whip in as a little taps and that, because they learn that if you start with light lead rein pressure first, and if they don't respond, they learn that that light lead rein pressure predicts the heavier lead rein pressure. So they then learn to step forward from the light lead rein pressure. So you see that a horse wants to remove the discomfort. They want to remove the irritation. Now, there's sometimes we have to habituate them to irritation, like, well, obviously breaking in a horse under saddle, bridle, having rugs on. All of this, having a rug on is habituating them to that stimuli, that pressure. They learn that pressure is not going to kill them. They've learned. They're good also too. Horses are good at habituating to things that they are aware are safe. They realize they're not in danger. It's not a lion that's going to eat them. So they'll, once they learn that something is safe and they aren't worried about it, they'll habituate to it, and it's not causing them any discomfort. So horses are good at habituating to it. Why is that? Because it conserves energy. Okay, if a horse was in the wild, was continually on edge at everything, okay, it would live its life in complete stress, and their cortisol levels will be, which is up over the top, which is cortisol levels in horses in performance and dressage and show jumping are so high because they continually can't get away from pressure. For an example, heavy bit pressure in the dressage. They can't get away from the pressure. We see the tongue hanging out, the pain in their eyes. They can't get away from pressure, so they go into a learned helplessness or the display, all those symptoms. So first of all, let's get Sailor in his basic responses of training park, which I've got some videos on my YouTube channel, so not even worrying about the fly spray. 2, we want to put him in a situation where when you bring up the fly spray, bring him into the yard, training your park, but then maybe have him up where you first you're working with your stop and go and having him park and standing there. Then maybe what I do is I put the fly spray on my hand. Okay, there's a really good Equitation Science video on habituating to fly spray as well, with something they've already habituated to. This is all to do with how horses learn. There's a lot to it. It's simple, but there's a lot to it. But let's keep it simple by maybe what I do is I'll put the fly spray on my hand, okay, and I'll just rub it on. Also, first of all, you want to make sure your horse is comfortable and they like the touch. Then I'll spray it on my hand, rub it on. Okay. And then what I'll do, once I notice they're relaxed and used to that and they're not moving, then while I'm rubbing my hand, I'll do a little squirt and pat, scratch on the wither. While I'm rubbing my hand, they're already used to that feeling of the rubbing. Okay. While you're rubbing your hand and they might be finding it pleasurable. Okay. Little squirt with the fly spray. And then that stimulus of feeling of the fly spray blends in with the stroking of the hand, and then eventually they'll habituate to that fly spray and you'll be able to spray them all over and they'll stand there. But it's like gradually introducing them to it and linking up positive associations as well as habituation. I hope that makes sense. I might leave it there because it is, I don't know how long I've been talking for, but yeah, I hope that makes sense and gives you somewhere to start. So I wouldn't worry, but yeah, can you see what's happened? He can see that fly spray bottle. Now, you know, and this is where problems can progress. I had one of my mares, there's two of them actually, two of my off the track thoroughbreds that I couldn't catch. And, you know, I found food. I can go through this in a different topic, but it was only when these two horses started associating me, one mare, little Bindi, and I know her racing career, I could not catch her. Like she did not want anything to do with me. But once now it's literally, I feel like I could pick her up. She's only little. She's fat, but she's little. She just loves me. She loves me so much. She'll come up to me because she sees me. She associates me with pleasure and cuddling and all of that. It took time. It took time for me to be able to link different associates. Every time I'm with Bindi, well, I had to she had some very nasty wounds. So it started off with having to wrap her leg. I've got a video somewhere. I've got a blooper video actually, which is pretty funny. But I've had to wrap her leg from elbow to fetlock. So I started sort of working, and I haven't brought Bindi in for retraining yet. I actually have not even done any retraining, proper retraining, other than bringing them in and that. And she already has associated me with a pleasurable experience, whereas when I first got her I could not get a head collar on, she would pull back and freak out, panic. You couldn't get a head collar on her. Eventually you could, but and also too, I know a history in racing. I know the trainer, they couldn't get a bridle on her, and I know she would have been growled at and hit and screamed at and all of that. So anyway, I'm probably rambling on there, so I might not go down that topic, but I might leave it there, and I hope that gives you some tips, Sarah Becca, with where to start, and we can follow it through more, and also with your other videos, which are really good. I'll follow up with yours, Paula, with your the oat hulls and with a lady oat hulls, and I'm just writing it down. And let me know if this has helped, and let me know if you like these video analysis sessions we can do, especially in the academy. We can do I've got two, so I'm going in the Off the Track Thoroughbred Success Academy. I'm going to be doing weekly sessions. 1 week is going to be a Q&A session, and the next week is going to be group coaching. So if you like the video analysis ones, we can do some group coaching in those sessions. But anyway, let me know what you think, if this helped. And I'm getting tongue-tied here, so I might leave it here. And I will see you in the group on YouTube. And I'll talk to you soon, Sarah Becca. Let me know how you go. I'm glad you've enjoyed this, Kate. Let me know. Yeah, I think you said this is really helpful, but love to let me know in the comments what you have learned, and what has been your biggest take from this Q&A. If you can let me know what has been your biggest takeaway from this, that'd be really helpful, because it gives me help in doing future videos as well. So I'll leave it there. I've got to go out to my horses. I've got to go and buy some more horse feed. Have a lovely week, but I'll see you soon. Bye.